Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with My Hero Academia Season 5. We are on Episode 4, and we are in exciting times right now because we have Class 1A versus Class 1B facing off against each other. And the closest thing we ever got really to that was back in Season 2, the Sports Festival. But even then, it wasn't really one class versus the other. I mean, there was pride involved, I guess, but, everyone was kind of out for themselves in that Sports Festival to put themselves above the rest, right? But with this, we actually have the two classes facing off against each other. Not to mention, we also have Shinso who's coming in because he wants to be transferred into the hero course. So, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that case, like I was talking about in the last episode, of like, well, if he gets transferred in, are we going to have someone transfer out, or is he just going to join, the group? I did go ahead and say that I feel like if there was going to be a transfer in and out thing, that would mean that he would probably be put into 1B, because I don't see how they would take out one character from 1A unless they're going to, revolve a bit of a story around that, which would be interesting, to be fair, but that's just something we're going to have to wait and see, because I cannot see how Shinso will not be into the hero course, like, after all of this is wrapped up. I feel like there is no doubt that he's going to end up in there, because that's a hell of a lot of his story. And in the last episode, he even claimed it was his starting line, and we know that like when it specifically states starting line, that's kind of like almost like the origin story for that, that specific hero or character, right? And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, he's like the fourth person that we've got the starting line thing for, right? I could be wrong. There could be like another one that I'm missing, but I feel like we've only gotten Deku, Bakugo, and Shoto, and now Shinso, I think, who have had their starting line. So yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't know. Right, so at the end of the last episode, that was a really crazy like sort of revelation about. I mean, first of all, he came with like his new get-up, right? His new drip. If you want to call it that, with these support items that he's using, one of which is Aizawa's sort of, his similar kind of like wraps and whatever, and we don't know to what degree he's able to use them, if he's able to use them efficiently or not. We've never seen Shinso really since Season 2, so we don't know what training he has been put up to, but he must have been spending some time with Aizawa at some point, which I like. I like the fact that that Aizawa actually went out of his way to to sort of, I guess, give him that opportunity, because I'm pretty sure back in Season 2, Aizawa was one of the commentators, right? And he was the first person to kind of speak up when he was talking about the idea of like some quirks are more sort of, I guess. I think he was saying that the entrance exam was a bit skewed because it was in favor of people who were able to defeat the robots because of their quirks, whereas Shinso's was, mind control, and how the fuck do you do that against the robots? He couldn't do that, so he was basically screwed from the get-go, and Aizawa was the first one to speak up about that, so it actually makes sense that he would be the one sort of, being the mentor to Shinso. But so it will be interesting to see if Shinso is going to use them wraps at some point. I feel like he will, but I think the most interesting one is obviously this like new mask thing that he's got that allows him to modulate his voice to speak like other people, meaning that he can trick people into answering his questions so that he can get the mind controlled, which is insane. It's just like, it's such a game changer, so yeah, I feel like in terms of this, the teams that we've got facing off against each other at the moment, I feel like Class 1A is gonna come away with a win here, but there's still other Class B teammates that haven't entered the fray yet. There's only been two. There's the Beast dude, and then there's the one who has the Solid Air, who can form a prison now, which is insane as well. I really like that. So yeah, we will see what happens next. So yeah, I don't think we really need to talk about anything other than that. I mean, we know that All Might had that talk with Deku about the vestiges and everything like that, which is interesting. That that there seems to be something with Deku, including the vestiges, that is something completely different, like separate, that has only ever happened to Deku, at least as far as All Might knows anyway. But All Might never had the same kind of experience that Deku did, so there is some interesting things to go in on with that. But I feel like this is kind of something that will be gradual across the season, and maybe even continue on past that, where every so often we'll come back to it, and Deku will enter that that dreamscape or whatever it is, where the original will keep giving him information as he goes along his journey. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about though, so we are going to get in episode 4, see what we get. As always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, then I will re-upload this as a discussion only video, and the link to the reaction will be in the description below. And as always, the link to the full length is in the description below as well, so if you do want to watch my full reaction to this episode and not just the cut 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else really to talk about, so we're going to get in episode 4, season 5, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go.
First off, I focus my attention on the target and think I'm going to brainwash this person. If I can get the target to answer me after I do that, the effect is complete. I've never tried it before, but I think it's probably impossible to brainwash many people at once. My focus would be too splintered.
No matter what, it's a powerful move.
I can't make the person I brainwash talk. Also, orders that require them to think are off the table.
I know we all kind of deal with this, but isn't it hard when people learn about your quirk?
That's why I have this. It acts like another set of vocal cords.
So it has to be your real voice that they respond to.
Yes, this mask can change how I speak while still making my voice heard directly.
That's so cool, man. I want to know who made that.
Well, that was fast.
We don't have a plan, but let's just go for it.
Wondering then if this is like...
Take them down, Shishida!
How many times did he, has he used it beforehand?
He copied my voice and brainwashed Shishida?
Now's the time to strike!
I got this! Air prison!
Oh, fuck! He trapped Shinso!
He brainwashes you if you answer him, but you can break free. But nobody mentioned he could copy voices.
Oh, damn, Kaminari!
Got a good grip there, bro?
Oh, shit. Of course. That'll shock him out of it, though, right?
He almost fought through that jolt.
Nice, Sue.
I got you now.
Dude, the animation is really ramping up now.
No way!
Bastard. And he can't speak outside of that prism either.
The air wall should be weak enough to break easily.
Right. What the hell is... Yes! Even harder! Right, we've got to get Shinso out.
I won't let him escape.
We'll make sure to stop this guy.
Lend me your strength.
Come get some.
Just got to see what these insects can do. Oh, he shrunk!
Beast.
And the animal returns.
Just like a mixture between Beast and Hulk.
You'll go first.
Jesus. Oh, fuck! Damn it, that was smart.
Oh no, I can't believe they caught him.
Fuck! Kirishima already?
Odds are still even. No, they're definitely not.
He can't talk. He's too strong.
Really figured this out.
I know what you're trying.
That's it's insane.
Best to withdraw and tilt the scales of this battle in our favor.
And with that, we're up 2-1.
Fuck. I guess this gives Kaminari some time to shine, though. You know.
She captured me.
So who's the fourth one then on B's team? Fuck's sake.
With her tongue.
Class B's already pulling ahead. Each team has 3 competitors left, but it's obvious Class B is setting themselves up for a win. My superior students are attacking furiously.
Yeah,
Looks like they'll finally crush Class A.
Yeah, keep bringing
Yeah,
the truth, Mr. Vlad.
I was gonna say he's quickly becoming Monoma there.
Shinso, I'm afraid your inexperience is showing.
He can't keep up with the intense speed of the battle.
It's a good
They
point.
need another way to take advantage of Shinso's abilities.
We spent too much time trying to understand Shinso's quirk instead of planning. They took us completely by surprise.
This is my fault. I'm sorry.
No, we should be apologizing. You ended up having to fight the other team without any help from us.
For someone who's not used to this, you had solid intuition. No one got too hurt. I know you said earlier you weren't planning on making friends. But I like you, Shinso. You're totally a future hero.
Nice.
Whatever.
Kaminari, look for your pointers.
What you got in mind here?
You used me as a decoy for an ambush? What a sinful act of deception.
If we catch 2 more members of their team, we can beat them.
Yeah, they only
Now
have to
we
catch
know
4
about
right now.
Shinso's voice changer. So if we grab him and Asui while ignoring Kaminari, there's no way we can lose. Trickery.
Trickery.
I'm not sure what it means. But there are 3 Asuis heading our way.
3 frogs.
What?
If that's the case, I must chastise them.
I'm excited to see what the plan is.
Obviously, I can jump high and cling to pretty much any wall. And of course, there's my tongue. I can stick it out about 20 meters. Finally, I also secrete a toxic mucus. It just stings a bit.
Toxic mucus
It's on Kaminari and Shinso. Of course it is.
to cover their smell.
Kaminari, look for your pointers. One of them stuck to Shishida's pocket. And with these super cute glasses, you can always pinpoint their location!
Ah,
Really watch
nice.
it carefully, huh? Amazing, Sue.
Shishida's nose might be their biggest asset. We should assume that no matter what we try, he'll always know our location.
It looks like he hasn't noticed the pointer yet either. He's just hanging out.
How far can these
By the
vines
power
go,
of my
man?
true name, Vine. Locations.
Vine.
Sniff them out for me, Apocalypse Beast.
Cool.
10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And one more thing. Do not call me Apocalypse Beast. My hero name is still Jevodan.
Three
Jevodan?
of them are approaching. They must know where we are.
Dragon
Is there
Shroud.
anyone on their team who has recon powers?
Kind of.
Hey, wait.
Oh,
Apocalypse?
come on.
Something stuck to you.
One person captured.
Ready
Is it
for anything.
Kaminari?
Don't know who it is.
It is.
About that, sucks to be you.
See if he can get his revenge.
You 3 are about to taste a triple shock.
Okay.
Sacrificial lamb. Faith shield.
Jesus Christ, Kaminari, not again. Don't let this happen.
The vines have sealed off his electricity.
Your overgrown hair extensions won't save you.
As long as he's got
I'm
his,
within 10 meters of a pointer.
of his pointer, yeah.
Power shoot straight for it.
Oh, fucking come on, dude. That was quick thinking.
Close.
He can shoot scales?
Quirk, scales can shoot them, or they can act as armor.
Next, hurry up and get your vines
Man.
ready.
Right. Where are the others hiding?
No! That wasn't me talking just now.
Very good. And as long as he keeps out the way.
Vines? Seriously? What if I'm the only one of us who gets captured? If they think I'm like the big bad out here, I'm the last person they'll want to draw close. I'll go wild and become the focus of their attacks.
Keep
then
up,
she'll have
yeah.
fewer vines to work with. Denki out!
Denki out. Smart.
Maybe I underestimated my teammates. Even he can be clever.
Ah, it's nice
The
to see
difference
Kaminari
experience makes.
actually coming up with it.
This is the hero course.
Thinking on his feet.
He's using echoes to hide his position. Shishida, where is the enemy hiding?
Yeah, Beast should be able.
Using words would be helpful. Sleep.
He doesn't want to answer back.
Okay, fine. New plan is to wake Shiozaki up.
Too late. Very nice.
Asui's here. Communications breaking down.
Thump. Wow, that's where the experience come into play. Completely lost himself.
True Asui is, which means the person hiding here. You say you're behind us, but you're a terrifying opponent. I consider you a proper threat already.
Shit, what are you gonna do, Shinso? Gonna use your wraps?
Don't fall for that ruse. But Eraser had taught me well.
Yes. Wow, nice.
Not bad at all.
I feel like he
But
takes some
villains aren't
punishment
taken
though.
out so easily.
Dodge!
I told you.
Behind you! Look out, Apoca Beast!
Apoca Beast.
Come on! Dodge, please!
Nice. He second guessed
Sorry about
himself.
that.
God, it puts like just a different, such a different spin on everything, right? Because they have to second guess themselves in everything.
No, Asui and Kaminari's quick thinking let him shine. That's why he did so well. They made it so the other team couldn't communicate.
Yeah. That's good. It's great. It just
Time
adds...
to prepare. He was able to control the fight and use their paranoia against them.
It's perfect.
It's an even more annoying Quirk than I thought it was before.
Yeah.
He's completely different from the person I fought at the sports festival.
Damn right he is. It's such a different dynamic. I love just
You can't help the things your heart longs for.
Hey, Shiozaki. Wake up, come back to Earth.
Why am I in the prison? I was forced to complete these vile actions.
so angelic.
No, Shiozaki, stay with me.
You're not behind at all. I don't think we could have won this fight without you, Shinso.
I'm not nearly where I need to be. I need to grow strong enough to become a pro hero on my own.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Despite their failures, the team of Class A plus Shinso are the winners!
He had to get out despite the failures, didn't he? He had to get that one then. Just a little jab. Okay, episode 4 of season 5. Very, very good, very good. Class 1A gets the first win for the first round anyway. And I feel like as these sort of battles go on ahead, I think Class B will get some wins. So it's going to be interesting to see which teams actually do, because I feel like it could be a split thing where, you know, Class 1A might get the overall win again, like, you know what I mean, in terms of how many teams actually win. I can't remember how many, I think, what was it, 5, I think? So there's going to be 5 matches. So it could be a case of like 3 wins to 2, you know, in favour of Class 1A, potentially. But, I mean, at some point, you know, you've got to give the credit to, you know, Class 1B, because for a good chunk of this match, anyway, Class 1B, like, were looking good. And I think a lot of that was actually down to Beast, because, you know, like, if I feel like out of the whole group, he was the one that was actually almost making some headway against Class 1A. Of course, everyone played their part, you know, to a degree, but I feel like Beast was at the heart of everything that was going on. You know, he was always at the heart of, you know, the capturing, and with that, Kirishima and Koda both being captured was definitely an interesting one. I feel like Koda couldn't even get a grasp into this one, really, and neither could Kirishima, actually, to be fair. I mean, he did break out Koda, but they both ended up getting captured anyway, so, you know, it kind of amounted to nothing. You know, but you know, I think it makes sense to not put the spotlight on Kirishima as much, because he's already had some time to shine. So you need other people, like other characters, to actually have that. And I feel like Kaminari really stepped up. And it's always great to see Sue, like, using. I feel like when it comes to Sue, like, she's so varied in, like, you know, there's so many ways with her quirk to kind of support everyone else. You know, I feel like she's always been that, you know, support hero as opposed to, you know, like, out and out, you know, like the sort of the upfront, I suppose, is what you would say. But, like, her quirk just is really advantageous to helping out those around her. And this is just another example of that, with, like, the toxic mucus and using it so that you can, you know, basically avoid, well, not really avoid, but, you know, kind of get, making it disadvantageous to Beast, or Apoca Beast, or Jevodan, or whatever that means. I don't know what that is, Jevodan. I'm sure it's got something to do with, like, I don't know, like, maybe like a mythical beast in some other country or something like that. But it's interesting, because he wants to go by Jevodan, but the other two, Vine and Dragon Shroud, they refer to him as Apocalypse Beast, or Apoca Beast for short. So that's kind of, like, interesting, I suppose. I think it's just a thing of, like, all of these these teammates call him Apoca Beast because I don't know, maybe they see, you know, they see he wants to be called Jevodan, and then either they don't know what it is, or they just find it ridiculous, so they call him Apoca Beast. Who knows? But but yeah, I feel like he was very. I feel like Apoca Beast was very much at the heart of everything that was going on. I feel like he, at points, really almost carried the team. I mean, he was the reason why both of them got captured by, first of all, throwing Kirishima into Vine, so he was caught that way, and also knowing immediately to shut up Koda so that he couldn't speak and get the help of his animal friends and everything like that. You know, and also he was the one that was really quick thinking on everything, like just thinking that, you know, he knew exactly where Shinso was, and he was the one that had to go and take him out. He knew that he didn't want to speak because any, you know, as soon as he suffered it the first time, I feel like from then on it was just kind of like, you know, it's always niggling in there that it makes him scared to speak, which is something that is just like this second-hand sort of effect of Shinso's quirk, which means it makes it even more dangerous. Like, yeah, it's one thing that he can talk in other people's, you know, tone of voice, but that's just one aspect of it. Like the fact of it's so interesting to me that they've managed to completely 180 Shinso's power to a point where it makes it just so dangerous. Like, because beforehand there was always that thing of, once you know that you don't have to answer him, it becomes so easy to avoid. But then with the addition of this, you know, voice modulation, it makes everyone second guess about answering, even to the point where, because you can't see his mouth move underneath the mask as well, you don't know whether it's him talking or actually it is one of your teammates. So it completely shuts down any form of communication between them and fucks them up. It's like the perfect sort of vice against them, I suppose, because the one thing that Class 1B has over Class 1A is that sort of traditional way of doing things, more, I guess, strategic beforehand, and very tactful. But that requires them to be very focused, and communication always has to be a priority within their, you know, when they're making their play, which as soon as that goes out the window, you saw, like, especially Dragon Shroud, he completely just shut down. Like, he just didn't know what to do in that, and that's where the lack of experience comes into play. And you saw as soon as that communication just dropped that, like, everything just went awry for them, and that's it, they were done. So that was, yeah, really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't just showing the lack of experience to Class 1B, but also to Shinso as well, which I really like, because I thought that after the end of the last episode that it just felt like, oh shit, like, the fact that he's able to manipulate his own voice with the help of this mask it just seemed like he was going to breeze through it. So it was nice to see him be trapped in a solid air prison as well, because of that lack of experience, thinking he'd got the upper hand when he actually didn't. You know, so it does still highlight that idea that he is behind, you know. And even though Sue did mention that, like, you're not really behind, I feel like he is. But I feel like by being around these people who have had that experience and everything like that, I feel like he is quick to fit in, though. You know what I mean? Because having that help around you is going to make you, you know, level up really quickly. I mean, I remember that was, you know, one of All Might's lines from, God, what was it, like Season 2, I think? Yeah, because I think it was the Bakugo starting line episode 24, Season 2, I think, where All Might said, you know, it's easier to level up when you're a novice, you know what I mean? So, like, that, I guess that sort of boost that you would get because, you know, Shinso hasn't been, like, with the hero course. He's been, you know, training with Aizawa, so that's obviously one thing. But, like, you know, they always say, like, to kind of, I guess, level up, you need to be surrounded or going against better opponents, right? And when you're surrounded by all of that, like, you tend to just get better. So I feel like with him being, you know, surrounding them, I feel like it'll be, I think he'll be gaining pretty quickly, you know, and eventually he will get to a point where he will enter the hero course, you know what I mean? But it is nice to see him, you know, still struggle at times with that lack of experience, but he will get there, so yeah. What else? Oh yeah, so Kaminari, I thought that was really cool having him think on his feet, because he has always been, you know what I mean, a bit like, I don't know, a bit of a dumb character, I suppose. Like, he's always kind of like at the heart of, you know, comedic relief, and even when he, you know, goes really full throttle, you know, he ends up short-circuiting his brain. It becomes dumb. So there's always like that whole thing that, you know, with him, that he ends up being like sort of like the butt of the joke at times, but having him like really step up as almost like, he almost became the leader at this point, which was really cool. And also using a previous loss to his advantage and actually using it to overcome and eventually get the win is really cool, because obviously, you know, he went up against her before, and I guess you could really put that down to inexperience as well, but since then, you know what I mean, they've been through a lot, and, you know, he's able to use what would have normally been a disadvantage into a real advantage, you know what I mean? But what this has really shown is just the, I guess, I suppose, like, just the aptitude of the support class, that they are able to come up with amazing things that just completely change the outcome of, you know, of a fight, or, you know what I mean? Because the fact that Kaminari is able to use these discs that stick, right, which basically means that he can use it as almost like, you know, like a recon device, like a GPS almost, which is, you know, really cool. But that it just has multiple different ways of using it. So you can use it like that, or use it as, you know, the main thing, which is that, you know, firing off his electricity will automatically target in on that thing. You know, and I guess that's one thing I will give Dragon Shroud credit for, because I feel like he was a bit of he didn't really do much, but he did, you know, he was quick thinking in the fact of shooting away that, before Beast got, you know, stung with the lightning again. But yeah. Yeah, Shinso was going on as well about possibly, you know, he doesn't think that he's going to be capable of mind controlling multiple people at once, because the focus would be too scattered. And it seems as though, like, the focus truly has to be on one entity at a time. But we don't know, I guess, right now what could happen in the future. You know what I mean? Because there could be a case where, you know, like, maybe he would be able to not be as effective, I guess, if he, you know, as he would be if he's focusing on one. But if he's able to sort of, I guess, I don't know, learn and maybe train his mind to be able to get multiple people at once, but it isn't as effective. So, for an example, like, you could possibly get multiple people, but all of them would be a bit more slow, I guess, to maybe think, and there could be a case where, you know, if it is less effective, maybe the, you know, the initial person who, like, you know, has been affected, maybe they would have a bit more consciousness about them, but because they're being invaded, that they wouldn't be able to think as quickly on their feet. So there could be something like that, you know what I mean? But I can't see how it could become a problem, like, with something as, you know, with mind control. It's the focus and concentration has to be so 100%. I feel like it could be hard to get multiple people under that sort of mind control at the same degree as what it is right now with one person, you know? So yeah, I mean, obviously it's just a case that you just can't do it now, but we don't know what will happen in the future. Yeah, Beast. He can bulk and shrink. I said during the reaction, he's kind of like a mixture between Beast and Hulk. Then, in some way, you know. But he has a lot of things up his sleeve, as well. What else? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess, you know, Dragon Trout, we didn't really talk about his power, but his scales. So he's able to shoot them off in some sort of offense, but it also doubles as a defense as well. So he's able to use it as armor, which is cool. You know what I mean? I think that's... I mean, it's a case of, like, how we can improve on that. I think that's the thing with a lot of these, like, different quirks and stuff, as what I'm always thinking is how do they improve on it. And they always shock me, and they always catch me off guard, like, how they're actually able to use it, especially with, like, you know, 1A and everything. Like, just thinking about how they could, you know, use their power in such a different way that causes some different kind of effect. And it always catches me off guard, because it's something that I just never think of, which is always something that I praise this show for, is its creativity. So, you know what I mean? But in terms of, like, Dragon Shroud, like, improving his quirk, because it is kind of almost very specific to that, like, one thing. But then again, like, you know, if you want to take it as, you know, because I guess the closest you could consider probably Kirishima, right? Because he can use his hardening quirk to be very offensive, but it also is very defensive at the same time. I mean, even more so defensive. But I think the idea that, you know, he's able to make his scales harder, you know what I mean? But I mean, I don't think that would be very, I guess, creative. But yeah, I also wonder what the shroud bit is about. I mean, it could just be, you know, he finds it sounds cool, you know what I mean? But shroud would typically mean, like, I don't know, like, fall stealthily, or, like, be in the shadows a bit more, or what? I mean, I suppose he did really take that kind of role in this matchup. I mean, not to a literal extent where he was in the shadows, but he wasn't exactly out on the front lines, you know? Which, considering he has a defensive quirk that can be used offensively from range, you know, maybe it could have been a case where he could have been up front, but they decided to go with Beast and the Solid Air dude, which I guess, you know, I guess that does make sense. I suppose if you were thinking about it, Beast and the Solid Air dude are more kind of up close and personal. Dragon Shroud would be a more rangy kind of character, and I guess they were focusing on not splitting up really as much, you know what I mean? So they had the 2-on-2, I suppose, the two that went up front, and then the two that hung back, just so if it ever got to a case where, you know what I mean, they shouldn't be alone, because they could easily be outnumbered, right? So yeah, very, very cool. But I think it's one of those things where a lot of it just tends to, you know, they catch each other off guard because they're just not experienced at fighting each other. But I think that's where 1A will always have the, you know, the advantage, because they've been through it before, where they're able to think on their feet no matter who they go up against, you know what I mean? And I think that's where Class B will eventually kind of fall down until they've had that experience. And this will be an experience for them as well, you know what I mean? So they're all going to be growing anyway, but I feel like that's where it'll come down to Class 1A winning overall again, because while Class B will most likely get some wins, I still think it'll be a case of, you know, they're just catching each other off guard because of their quirks and how they've improved them, because they don't know all of the ins and outs of each person's quirk, right? So it's going to be a thing of, like, how quickly and efficiently they can use them to catch them off guard, like, the first time. But then it's going to be it's one of those things that, like, if there's ever this kind of thing down the line again, then we'll have that information going in a second time, you know. But yeah, anyway, that's all I've got, pretty much. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I think I've pretty much gotten everything. Oh yeah, the Scar music. The Scar music at the beginning one. It's very much like Haikyuu Season 4. There's a sort of a a track in season 4 of Haikyuu that's very, I mean, it's not really ska, I guess, but they do use that sort of like more brassy kind of instrument, like a trumpet or something like that, you know. But this is very ska, and I think My Hero and Haikyuu have the same music composer, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that's not surprising that they, you know, they sound similar. I mean, I feel like you could interchange a lot of the tracks between like Haikyuu and My Hero, and it would work. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I hope I haven't missed anything, but that is all I've got. So in the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access, gives you access to shows a week early. There's the full-length tier, so if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the cut 10-minute versions, then that is there for you as well. And there's also the exclusive tier, which gives you access to the full-length movie reactions and everything like that. So Fate, Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 3, that will be out this weekend, okay? And also the Demon Slayer movie is out, Infinity Train, right? So that will be not too far behind that as well, so look forward to that. But anyway, that's all I've got, so thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye bye.